Hey guys, Check here. Today I'm going to talk a bit about Wii U USB Helper, USB Helper Launcher, how it works, and also try to dispel some of the security concerns people often have with Wii U USB Helper. To do that, I'm going to show the outgoing HTTPS requests from the launcher and Wii U USB Helper. And to do that, I am running a slightly modified version of the launcher, but that's just to set the upstream proxy to child's proxy to be able to see what's going on. Okay. So one of the most common security concerns I see people talk about is about a supposed miner being embedded in Wii U USB Helper, and there's some truth to that. Like, there used to be an option when the original developer of Wii U USB Helper worked on it. There was an option to enable a miner to supposedly donate, but to do that, Wii U USB Helper downloaded an external binary that it will execute, right? It's not embedded in the binary, it's in the Wii U USB Helper binary itself. And that servers are now dead, so it cannot possibly get that miner anymore. And the launcher makes sure to not leak any requests to those dead servers anyway, because the launcher is actually a bit of a server emulator in a way. It tries to replicate some of the requests that the original server would handle. We will see that in a moment, okay? So without further ado, I will run the launcher. I will set this as a Windows proxy, so we also see what requests the launcher does, okay? So I will run this, and immediately you will see that the launcher checks for updates. It gets the latest translations. In this case, it has the latest ones, so it's not gonna download anything. And it checks for updates to the title keys, and immediately this starts getting thumbnails and stuff for the games from Nintendo servers and also the game TDB. But that's really about it that the launcher, that the launcher lets through, because if we see the console here, you will see that there's some other requests that the launcher handles, like send key validation, sending local copy of blacklist.txt, sending database context with database X encryption. This is a lot of requests that would previously be handled by the original server, but they are not. It is now down, so it is the launcher's job to do that. That's kind of the entire point of why it was made. Because in May 2018, when the original developer, Hikario6, decided to stop supporting Wii USB Helper, he basically put out a new update that prevented any new users from using the program, and also removed some of the files required by the program to start from the server. So when you try to run it, even if you got past the discontinued screen, the famous discontinued screen, you would eventually find that those files could not be found if you didn't already have them. So that's kind of the reason the launcher was made. So I don't know, what else could I show? I'm going to try to download a game, and you will see that everything goes through Nintendo servers. There's no torrents or stuff involved in this, and it's not like any of this is magical. The way the news that Nintendo update servers work is fairly well known at this point, and some people also may ask, like, why do I care so much about Wii USB Helper? So here's the thing. This launcher project thing, I never thought it would go that far. I just made it because when the author discontinued it, I was like, why can we not use it anymore? Like, is this a challenge for me to break through it and enable users to use it again? So I did a small server emulator for that and put it out. And suddenly there were so many people interested that I kept adding features to the launcher and I kept doing stuff. And then now there's this amazing community of people, and it's so great. And we now can even select a launcher, a language for for Wii USB Helper. Like you can see here that I didn't even do anything, but like the launcher already detected that I'm on a Spanish machine, so here I have some translated strings and stuff. Even though the translation is not complete yet, there's people volunteering for that and working on it, right? As you can see here, it's just downloading stuff. I'm going to stop it because I already have this game on another hard drive, but really there's not much to it. You can also, if you are really interested, there is a way to export the sessions from the launcher, which generates a HTTP archive file that you can open in Fiddler. Not Charles Proxy, because there's a bug with that. I've never been able to open it with Charles Proxy, but you can open it in Fiddler and see how the launcher responds to the request, right? And I'm going to show you right here in Visual Studio, like explain a little bit, because you may not be able to understand some of this stuff if you don't know C# or programming in general. But like here we register some endpoints that Wii USB Helper uses, and we have some classes. Like the most interesting one maybe is content or application endpoint, and it just, for example, here when it asks for certain image files, it just loads the response from files included with the launcher or the database files. So here's the interesting thing. To be able to show all of this information about games, most of it, like description, is pulled from Nintendo's own service. If you can check it out here. So see, title, description, blah blah blah. All of this is from Nintendo's own service, but for some reason, it has like its own cached database that used to be downloaded from Wii USB Helper's own service and was encrypted. We decompiled Wii USB Helper, we found the AES encryption keys, and now we are able to update it ourselves and so on. There's actually 2 different encryption keys for different versions of Wii USB Helper. That's taken care of. And also, so we talked about how there was this way to enable mining to donate. Well, the launcher actually makes you a donator automatically. Like it cracks the program by replacing the public key used to check if donation keys are valid, and it automatically sets a valid one for you. So Wii USB Helper actually thinks you're a donor. So you cannot even enable the miner even if you want to, and even if you manage to get it like unregistered, which you can actually, you won't be able to enable the miner. We can check out that right now if you want. I'm going to open this to like generate an invalid donation. An invalid donation key, and I'm going to go here, and yes, I have a donation key. The key stored in the clipboard is not valid, and now it says I'm not a donor. So I can do, I don't have any money, how can I help? This was the option he had. So it says, thank you for wanting to supporting me. Where is it? Yeah, basically you run a small program in the background which will mine Monero coins. Wow. They say, sure. Okay. Yeah, look. Oh yeah, it tries to redirect to shift in server, which we use, so I can actually check here. We actually use to store from some of the injection settings. So USB Helper has some custom titles, which are injections, and it downloads an injection config from, well, it used to download an injection config and data from USB Helper servers, but of course they are down. So instead we now have our own server for that. And it tries to get the miner from that same server, but as you can see, we don't have that. And it does nothing. Basically does nothing. There's really not much to it other than that, as you can see. And there are also another concern, and I used to see is it contacts Yandex service. That was a thing where there was this tab here that you could, for some reason, who thought that was a good idea, for some reason, it would automatically load a search for the game on Yandex out of all places. And of course that would generate requests to that. And with a recent patch, I selected it and it froze. With a recent patch, we disabled that, so it's not here anymore. You can still re-enable it if for some reason you want to, like in the conf.json file here. But I don't see why you would ever want to do that. See here, you can see the content endpoint fallback we have for stuff that we don't know what to do with. You could even remove this if you don't want this request to be made at all. You can remove this, and it will simply respond with a 410 gone message, and that's it. So I don't know what else to say. That's really it, and thank you for watching.